This is the story of a gangster who suddenly ends up inside the body of a high school student. He faces school bullies and uncovers a truth he never knew, which completely changes his life. Friends, this Korean drama is packed with fun, action, and comedy. Make sure to watch this video until the end. You will definitely enjoy it. The story begins with a gangster boss named Jang, who was living a luxurious life. He had everything except genuine love from his wife. His wife, Seon, did not love Jang at all. However, Jang did not care, because he married Seon only because she was the daughter of the chairman of Han-ho Company. One day, Yang learns that a carpenter's shop is standing in the middle of his new construction project. The carpenter is refusing to move. After hearing this, Jang calls his most loyal man, Manchul. He orders Manchul to take some men and remove the shop by force. Meanwhile, the carpenter, Jang, becomes nervous when Manchul arrives with several men. At first, they treat Jang politely. Then Manchul coldly declares that if Jang does not sign within 3 counts, they will cut off his hand and force his thumbprint. Terrified, Yang signs the papers. Later that night, while Yang is eating dinner, another man named Yang arrives. Yang insults him, trying to show his dominance. After being insulted, Jang remains silent and Yang eventually leaves. Sometime later, Jang's company successfully acquires a new building. To celebrate, Yang goes to a small restaurant to eat ramen.
However, he is not really there for the food.
He has come to see someone from his past. A high school student named Dong is sitting nearby. Jang asks the restaurant owner about a woman who used to run the place 10 years ago. The owner replies that the woman has probably passed away. Hearing this, Yang tastes the ramen but does not enjoy it. He prepares to pay and leave. At that moment, Dong receives a phone call and hurriedly gets up. He tells the woman that he has lost his wallet. The woman smiles and says that this uncle will pay for him. She takes Jang's money and promises to give him a gift soon. Jang pays and walks out of the restaurant. On the road, his car gets stuck because of a garbage truck. Annoyed, he steps outside. At the same time, Dong is walking along a rooftop wall nearby. While trying to take off one of his shoes, he suddenly slips. Dong falls directly onto Jang, knocking him unconscious. Jang wakes up in a hospital. A nurse approaches and asks if he is awake, calling him son. Jang is confused and wonders why she is calling him that. The nurse leaves to call the doctor. Jang gets up and walks outside. Another man also calls him son. Jang becomes irritated and thinks everyone has gone crazy for calling a 40-year-old man a kid. Suddenly, he freezes in shock. He sees his own body lying on a hospital bed in a coma. Just then, the carpenter Jang arrives. Jang looks at him and calls him his son. Jang realizes that his soul has entered the body of the same high school boy who fell on him. This revelation leaves him completely shocked. The doctor assumes that Dong suffered a head injury from the fall, which explains his strange behavior. At that moment, the carpenter Jang says that his son's way of speaking has completely changed. He asks Dong if he recognizes his own father. Jang angrily responds, telling the old man to stay away and insisting that he is not his son. The doctor explains that the boy's brain may have been affected and says it should heal naturally with time. Jang suddenly remembers that he is now inside the body of the same boy he met at the restaurant. He also realizes that the woman at the restaurant must have been responsible for switching their souls. Jang rushes back to the restaurant immediately. However, the restaurant is no longer there. He argues with a nearby woman who claims the restaurant moved years ago. Jang insists that he ate ramen there just the day before. The woman thinks he is mentally unstable and dismisses him. Meanwhile, Yang is thrilled after hearing that Jang's original body is lying in a coma. At the same time, Yang arrives at his own house and sees his wife crying. At first, he assumes she is heartbroken because of his condition. In reality, she is crying because her necklace is broken. When she sees Jang, she becomes terrified. Jang tells her that he is her husband and that he is Jang. She does not believe a single word. She raises an alarm and grabs a sword. The guards quickly arrive and hand Jang over to the police. The officer questions him, asking why he entered the house and whether he was trying to steal something. Jang becomes furious and says the house belongs to him, so there is nothing to steal. Carpenter Jang steps in and explains that his son has suffered a serious head injury. He tells the police that the condition may have been caused by a stroke. He asks them to forgive him for now. The police accept the explanation and take them away. Later, Jang goes back to the hospital and repeatedly throws himself onto his unconscious body. He desperately tries to return to his original form. At that moment, his loyal man Manchul arrives at the room. Manchul initially thinks he has entered the wrong room and starts to leave. Suddenly, he realizes this is his boss's hospital room. He rushes back inside and angrily asks what Jang is doing there. Manchul recognizes him as the same overweight boy who caused his boss to fall into a coma. Just then, the doctor arrives and Jang quickly leaves. After that, Jang returns home with Carpenter Jang. Yang prepares a large meal for his son. Seeing the amount of food, Jang says he cannot possibly eat it all. However, after taking just a few bites, something strange happens. When he comes back to his senses, every dish is completely finished. Yang smiles and tells his son to rest. He says they will go to school the next day and talk about everything there. Jang then heads to Dong's room. The next morning, they both go to school together. Jang sits confidently in class, acting like a boss without holding back his attitude. Meanwhile, Jang speaks with the principal. News has already spread throughout the school that Dong cannot remember anything from the day he fell. Carpenter Carpenter Jong tells the principal that his son could not have jumped off the building by himself. He insists that other students must have done something to him. The principal denies the accusation. From his reaction, Jong realizes that the principal is hiding the truth, and then heads toward Dong's classroom. In class, the teacher explains that Dong has not fully recovered from his accident. She asks the students to help him with everything. However, as soon as Dong enters the classroom, some boys mock him by showing their middle fingers. Later, in the cafeteria, a group of girls begins bullying a student named Yunan. One of them pours a drink into Yunan's food and orders her to eat it. Yunan does not resist and quietly starts eating. The girls then throw all of her food on her. Seeing this, Jong tells them to leave her alone and let him eat his lunch peacefully. He asks why they keep bothering people for no reason. At that moment, a boy named Taewok steps forward and insults him. Taewok is about to hit Jang, but a teacher arrives and stops the fight. After lunch, the same boys surround Jang again. Taewok says that even if Dong does not remember anything, he still has to bring them burgers every day. He threatens to beat him if he refuses. Instead of backing down, Jang slaps Taewok. Jang hits him again, and by the third strike, Taewok starts to panic. Jang asks whether Dong had ever done anything to deserve this bullying. He asks if Dong was targeted for a reason, or simply because he was easy to pick on. Taewok admits that Dong was bullied only because he seemed weak and vulnerable. Hearing this, Jang slaps him again. He then beats Taewok's friends as well before walking away. At that moment, Jang notices another student named Kim Jae. Out of fear, Kim Jae had been bringing food to the bullies. Now that they have been beaten, the bullies drag Kim Jae into the bathroom. They start beating him and threaten him with more violence. They warn him not to tell anyone about what is happening. They even plan to humiliate him by recording a video to use for blackmail. Suddenly, Jang appears from behind and knocks all of them to the ground. He takes Taewok's phone and discovers multiple photos showing Dong being bullied. Jang slaps Taewok once more and tells him he will return the phone later. Back at home, Jang checks the phone carefully. He finds a video showing how Dong was bullied on the day of the accident. In the video, the bullies hang Yunan on an antenna. They force Dong to walk along a wall to rescue her. While trying to help her, Dong loses his balance and falls. That fall is what caused him to land on Jang. Jang finally understands everything that happened to Dong. Meanwhile, Taewok's gang leader starts beating him and his friends. He is furious because Taewok failed to delete the video from his phone. At that moment, Yang arrives and confronts the leader. Jang warns him that he has already made a copy of the video. He tells him to stay away unless he wants serious trouble. After saying this, Jang leaves with Kim Jae. Elsewhere, Jang's wife is taking advantage of her husband's coma. Just then, Yang appears in front of her. Yang threatens them by saying that he has taken photos of the two of them together. He warns that he will send those photos to Chairman Han. Jang's wife calmly tells him to stop talking and get straight to the point. She asks him what he really wants. Meanwhile, Yang returns to his original body in the hospital. His loyal man, Manchul, is sitting beside him. Manchul looks at him and angrily tells the overweight boy to stop coming near his boss. Hearing this, Yang calmly cracks walnuts and begins explaining the truth. He tells Manchul that he is actually his boss. To prove it, he reveals several personal details that only Jang could know. This finally convinces Manchul that the man in front of him is truly his boss. After satisfying his hunger, Jang asks Manchul why he was guarding his body. Manchul explains that there is a rumor that Yang wants Jang killed in the hospital. That is why he stayed there to protect him. The next day at school, Yang accidentally bumps into a girl walking quickly. She drops her teddy bear on the ground. Jang picks it up and runs after her to return it. The girl turns out to be Yunan. She looks at him and asks if he has really lost his memory. She says he does not even recognize her anymore. Just then, Yunan's mother arrives. Jang is shocked when he sees her. She is actually Misun, Jang's first love. Misun happily greets him and says that he has grown so much. Jang instinctively asks her what she is doing there. Misun scolds him for calling her by name. She says he has no manners and starts hitting him playfully. She then chases him away. Jang begins thinking about his past with Misun. He wonders if Misun is Yunan's mother, then who her father might be. To confirm his suspicion, he secretly takes a strand of Yunan's hair at school. The DNA test confirms that Yunan is his daughter. She is the same girl who has been bullied at school. This discovery fills Jang with rage. The next day, the same girls start harassing Yunan again. They accuse her of stealing their lipstick. They force her to check her bag. Seeing this, Jang steps in and claims that he stole the lipstick. He says he wanted it but did not like it, so he threw it away. In this way, he protects Yunan. However, when he sees his daughter crying, his anger grows even stronger. He shows Manchul a photo of the girls and asks him to teach them a harsh lesson. He even orders him to break their bones. Manchul refuses and reminds him that they are just high school girls. He says they are too young and that violence is not the solution. He suggests that Yunan should face this issue at school herself. Realizing this, Jang goes to confront Misun. Misun has no idea that the boy carries the soul of her first love. She believes he is just Dong. Jang tells her everything, including how the teachers are ignoring the bullying. Misun becomes deeply worried and feels helpless. She blames Jang, saying he has no idea what she and their daughter are suffering through. Hearing himself being criticized, Jang promises her that he will handle everything at school. Meanwhile, Jang's wife has joined hands with Yang. She tells her father, Chairman Han, that Jang has committed a massive financial scam. She also presents several documents as evidence. Jang decides that he must protect his daughter and help this boy regain his strength. He begins training seriously seriously at the gym. Mi-sun also sends Yunan there. Yunan refuses at first and says she does not want to practice fighting. She tries to leave, but Manchul's new trainer stops her. The trainer begins teaching both of them. Within a few days, Yunan becomes a skilled fighter. At the same time, Jang loses weight and gets back into shape. When he returns to school, everyone is stunned by his transformation. The girls are amazed, and even the boys cannot stop staring at him. After school, he goes home with Yunan. There, he finds many photos of his daughter. He picks up one childhood photo and saves it on his phone. Meanwhile, after a long day of work, Carpenter Jong collects his wages and heads home. On the way, several men suddenly ambush him. Yang had borrowed money from them 2 years earlier. Now they return to beat him and demand repayment. At that moment, Jang arrives. He steps in and starts fighting them. However, his guards take over and endure the beating instead. The gang leader then issues a threat. He gives Yang 1 week to bring 80 million won. After delivering the warning, they leave. Jang notices that Carpenter Yang has fainted. Later, Manchul goes alone to the gang's hideout. He defeats all of them and breaks their bones. Manchul reminds them that Yang borrowed only 5 million won 2 years ago. He warns them to reduce the debt or face serious consequences. Terrified, the gang leader agrees. Meanwhile, Jang prepares a meal for Carpenter Jong. Yang is deeply touched to see his son caring for him. He happily shares that the gang has already reduced his debt. Later at school, Jang proudly looks at his daughter's photo. At that moment, the same girls approach Yunan again to harass her. This time, Yunan shows no fear. She grabs them, beats them, and warns them never to bother her again. Jang feels proud seeing that his daughter has become strong like him. He later visits Mi-sun's restaurant and tells her everything. Mi-sun is happy to hear the truth and serves him ramen. She says that watching him eat reminds her of someone from her past. She adds that lately he reminds her of Yunan's father. Just then, a few customers begin teasing Mi-sun. This angers Yang instantly. He confronts the man, and the argument turns into a fight. Jang sends Mi-sun to the kitchen and faces the men alone. He grabs one of them and demands to know how he dared to touch his wife. Jang begins beating him violently. Mi-sun rushes out and stops him, fearing the man will be killed. She demands to know who Jang really is. She asks why he keeps calling her his woman. He explains that his soul is trapped inside this boy's body. Mi-sun finds the story impossible to believe. To convince her, Jang reveals a private detail about her body. He tells her that only her real husband could know such a secret. Mi-sun becomes alarmed. She asks where they first met and where they broke up. Jang answers every question correctly. He asks why she never told him about the pregnancy during her last visit. He says he would never have left her if he had known. Mi-sun is finally convinced that this is truly Jang. She asks why he has come back now. She tells him that Yunan is not his daughter in her eyes because she raised her alone. She says she left him because he was a gangster. Mi-sun tells Jang to leave. Jang has no choice but to go. After he leaves, Mi-sun remembers her final meeting with him. She had planned to tell him the truth that day. However, Jang abandoned her first because he was marrying the chairman's daughter for money. Remembering this betrayal fills Mi-sun with anger. The next day at school, Yang sits beside Yunan. A wealthy boy approaches her and invites her to his birthday party. Yunan is shocked and secretly happy because she likes him. The moment Jang notices this, he quietly gets up and walks away. While Mi-sun is still lost in her thoughts, Jang sends her a message asking to meet. The next day, Yunan arrives at the rich boy's villa for the party. At the same time, some troublesome girls from school gossip about Yunan. They mock her and say she does not even know why she was invited. Jang's school friend overhears their conversation. Meanwhile, Mi-sun arrives to meet Jang. Jang apologizes for everything he did in the past. He says he feels ashamed and wants to be with her again. Mi-sun refuses and says it is impossible. She reminds him that he is already married. The people nearby are shocked to hear this. They whisper after seeing such a young man involved in such a situation. Mi-sun turns to leave. Jang suddenly stops her and kisses her. Mi-sun slaps him hard. The crowd is stunned, trying to understand what is happening. Mi-sun grabs Jang and takes him to the police station. Jang apologizes for his behavior. At that moment, he receives a call from his school friend. He is told that Yunan may be in danger. Realizing the seriousness, Yang rushes out immediately. He asks Yunan's classmates for the party location and drives there. Meanwhile, the rich boy pressures Yunan to drink alcohol. Yunan refuses. The boy reveals his true intentions and says he did not invite her without a reason. He pours a drink over her. Soon after, Jang arrives at the villa. He takes down the guards standing outside. He rushes inside, searching for Yunan. Some boys are teasing her. Jang tries to take Yunan away, but they block his path. Jang snaps one boy's neck and attacks the others. Within moments, he defeats all of them. One boy fights back slightly, but falls after a few punches. Seeing this, one of the rowdy girls becomes fascinated by Jang. Meanwhile, Yunan breaks free from the rich boy. She strikes him hard and throws him into the pool. Father and daughter then leave the villa together. The next day, Manchul goes to visit Jang's real body. Several men stop him outside and say the chairman has ordered that no one is allowed to meet Yang. Manchul later tells Jang everything. He explains that Jang's wife and Yang have framed him with false charges. The chairman now believes Jang committed a massive financial scam. He also believes Jang was injured while trying to escape. Jang is left wondering what to do next. At his request, Manchul delivers a letter to the chairman. Meanwhile, Jang visits Mi-sun again and asks about Yunan. Mi-sun coldly replies that if he truly cares about Yunan, he should leave immediately. Jang turns around and starts walking away. Suddenly, the same girl from school appears in front of him. She asks if he is dating Yunan. Jang angrily denies it. Hearing this, the girl boldly asks him him to be her boyfriend. Jang refuses again. The girl hands him a box and leaves. Just then, Yunnan arrives and sees everything. She asks Jang if he plans to date that girl. Yang denies it once more. Yunnan then asks him to be her boyfriend. Jang firmly refuses and walks away. Later, Yunnan tells her mother that she wants Dong to be her boyfriend. Mi-sun is shocked and furious. She knows that Dong is actually carrying Jang's soul. She orders Yunnan to stay away from him. The next day at school, Mi-sun confronts Jang. She asks what he has done to make Yunnan want him as her boyfriend. Jang explains that he only wanted to be friendly. Mi-sun tells him to leave their lives forever. She says they can never be together again because he is already married. At that moment, Yunnan arrives and asks who is married. Without thinking, Jang blurts out that he likes her mother. Yunnan is shocked. She feels betrayed and believes her mother has taken away her love. In tears and anger, Yunnan runs away. Mi-sun turns on Jang and angrily demands to know why he said that. Meanwhile, Yang kills the guards and approaches Jang's real body in the hospital. He has come to kill him. Suddenly, Jang wakes up and speaks. He casually points out that Yang's zipper is open. Shocked to see him alive, Yang faints on the spot. Elsewhere, the high school boy's spirit arrives at Dong's house. He starts calling Carpenter Jong his father. It is revealed that Dong's soul has entered Jong's body. Seeing a grown man calling him father, Dong becomes terrified and starts crying. Just then, Jong arrives and realizes that the boy's soul has taken over his body. Dong finally understands everything and is overwhelmed with fear. Jang slaps him lightly to calm him down. Explains the entire situation to Carpenter Jong. At first, Jong refuses to believe it. After hearing everything carefully, he realizes they are telling the truth. Jang then speaks to Dong. He asks if Dong likes Yunnan. He promises that if Dong helps him, he will get closer to her. Meanwhile, Jang's wife is furious with Yang for failing to kill Jang. Yang assures her that his men are already searching. He says they will find Jang very soon. Just then, one of Yang's men arrives with news. He tells them that they have discovered Jang's location. At the same time, Jang approaches Mi-sun again, this time accompanied by Dong. Dong, pretending to be Jang, speaks to Mi-sun. He lies, saying that their souls have returned to their original bodies. Following Jang's instructions, Dong begins apologizing to Mi-sun. Suddenly, Yang arrives with his men. Seeing them, Dong panics and breaks down in fear. Mi-sun immediately understands the situation. Jang quickly sends both Dong and Mi-sun to the kitchen. He instructs Dong to keep Mi-sun inside and safe. Jang then confronts the thugs outside. Yang assumes they are just high school boys and underestimates them. Jang quickly eliminates all of the attackers. Enraged, Yang sends his strongest fighter to challenge him. A prolonged and intense fight begins. Eventually, Yang defeats and kills the strongest man. Suddenly, Yang attacks from behind, holding a knife to Jang's throat. He demands that Jang surrender immediately. At that moment, Mi-sun emerges. She turns on a gas cylinder, holds a lighter, and warns Yang. She declares that if he does not leave by the count of 3, she will set everything on fire, killing them all. Yang is terrified and flees with his men. He approaches her, closes the cylinder, and takes the lighter from her trembling hands. Mi-sun is still terrified but relieved. Just then, Dong appears. Mi-sun, having removed the real Jang from danger, begins speaking to Dong. In front of Yang's body, she finally confesses all the feelings she has held for 17 years. She tells him how much she missed him and how glad she is that he has returned. Mi-sun embraces him, and Jang realizes that Mi-sun still loves him deeply. Meanwhile, the chairman of Jang's company summons his daughter. He has learned about her affair from the letter she sent and wants to confront Jang. The chairman knows that Jang did not commit any financial fraud. He reveals that the letter was written before the accident. They even had the handwriting verified, confirming it was Jang's. His daughter is shocked and protests, claiming she only interacted with Yang after the accident. The chairman quickly realizes that his daughter has been deceiving him. He also discovers details about her affair. At the same time, Yang and Dong explain the entire situation to the chairman. Dong appears before the chairman, pretending to be Jang. The real Jang communicates instructions to Dong via radio from a car. The chairman refuses to give his daughter any of his wealth. Angered, she reveals that Jang also has a daughter and is allegedly having an affair with another woman. Hearing this, the chairman confronts Jang, but due to a glitch, he cannot hear the instructions. Dong calmly explains the truth. He admits that Jang does have a daughter, but only discovered this after the accident. He adds that he does not care if the chairman refuses to pay him for being fired from the company because he is staying with his family. The chairman is not angry. Seeing this, Jang's wife leaves in defeat. The chairman then tells Jang that he may do as he pleases. Dong leaves happily, satisfied that everything is finally resolved. Seeing the real Yang outside, Dong feels overjoyed that everything has been handled. But at that moment, Jang's wife becomes enraged and tries to strike him. Jang pushes Dong in front of a car, severely injuring himself. He is immediately rushed to the hospital. Mi-sun and Yunnan arrive at the scene. Seeing Jang's real body, Yunnan asks, "Mom, this is my dad, isn't it? Why did you hide his photo from me? I saw it anyway." The real Jang, who is in Dong's body, replies, "Yes, I am your dad." Yunnan becomes confused and worried, wondering what is really happening. She questions herself, asking, "Did my mother really marry my friend?" While they are talking, the real Jang faints. At the same time, Dong in Jang's body also faints. A short time later, Yang regains consciousness in the operating room. The owner of the same restaurant stands before him. Jang realizes that she was involved in the soul switch. The woman instructs Jang to rest and sleep. The story then fast forwards 6 months. Dong has returned to his original body. He is discharged from the hospital and returns to school. All the students praise him because the police had left the school out of fear of Dong. Dong and Yunnan become the new heroes of the school. Meanwhile, the gangster Yang is captured by the police. The real Jang, now back in his own body, gives up his gangster life. He begins living peacefully with Misun. Carpenter Zhang and Manshul also start working alongside them. Zhang spends quality time with his daughter, Yunnan. The movie ends on this happy note. Friends, let us know in the comments how you liked the movie. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and hype it up. If you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.